Welcome to Freaky Fauna Friday, where every Friday we take a little time and explore some of the freaks of nature from around the planet we cherish so deeply. So please, jump aboard and let's explore the wilds together. Welcome back to Freaky Fauna Friday. I'm the great and peaceful Mr. E.
And I'm Jay.
And today, we're going to be talking about a movie star animal.
Oh, I like some movies.
All right. Do you know what a Fossa is?
A Fossa?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like some type of mongoose.
Are you serious?
Wait.
Did you just guess?
Yeah. What?
I hate you.
Did I really get it?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. Okay, well, let's continue. And I'm going to be in a sour mood for the rest of the day.
Are you serious?
All right, a Fossa. So you've seen Madagascar, right?
No, I actually haven't.
The original Madagascar movie?
With like Chris Rock and stuff?
Yeah. The first one. They made a couple others and
Right.
like a cartoon later. But no, this is the first Madagascar. The lemurs are all scared of these. They look like little jungle cats.
Okay.
But the lion, he becomes king of the island because these creatures were the apex predators of Madagascar. But they are like 20 pounds.
Okay.
So a 400-pound African lion.
Is scared of this little thing?
No, he ended up running the island with the predators because he was the biggest predator.
Oh, once he got there.
Yeah.
Understood.
So Fossa, pronounced Foos or Fossa,
Okay.
depending on... So traditionally, I believe in Madagascar, it's pronounced Foosh.
Okay.
So Foosh.
Fusha.
No, there's no A at the end.
Oh, foosh.
Like
Just the
ha,
foosh.
ha. Fusha.
Foosh. Ha.
But for a lot of English speakers, they pronounce it like Fossa,
Okay.
the double O sound with an A at the end.
Okay.
They're extremely rare and elusive cat-like carnivores. They are native to Madagascar in the eastern coast of Africa. This family of carnivores is closely related to the mongoose family.
Oh, wow.
Now, not being true mongooses, they are very, they are very genetically related. Due to their physical traits of the Fossa, they're classified in the classification of this animal is very controversial. So we talked about, several times in this series, like family trees are a little bit based on genetics now, like phenology and bone structures is kind of how they make it. So they're always changing, even with genetics.
Okay.
So not only do these guys resemble cats and with their other characteristics, they also suggest that they are close related to kivets
What's that?
or civets.
Civets?
Yeah, which is another like cat-like creature. And your buddy, the binturong,
Oh, wow. The
bear cat.
Yeah, the bear cat.
which is not a bear or a cat.
No, but it smells like buttered popcorn.
Yeah, that's their pee.
Listen to that on a former episode of Freaky Fauna Friday, the Binturong.
The binturong is probably one of my favorite mammals.
It's an odd one. It's an odd one.
I like pretty much all the marine mammals because they were smart enough to leave.
Oh, okay.
No, but it's just, yeah. So yeah, these guys, if you've seen them, they look kind of like a really dark brown house cat with a weasel head.
Okay, the Fossa.
The Fossa. They like tropical rainforests. They're located mostly in Madagascar. Like I said, they are a little bit on the continent of Africa. They do not do well with a lot of other predators in Africa because they are very, very much towards the bottom of the food chain on the continent of Africa. But on Madagascar, they are one of the apex predators.
Okay.
They can live to be about 20 years old. They are about 31 inches long. They can weigh to be about 20 pounds. They're this golden brown, this like dark golden brown, almost honey colored. They're pretty much the same color all over. Their main diet is lemurs, rodents, reptiles, and birds, but they are mostly eating lemurs.
Oh, no wonder why they're scared of them.
That's the whole point of Madagascar.
Right, yeah.
Their only active predators are humans.
Okay.
People eat everything in Madagascar. Remember, actually, it was an episode I don't think you were here for, when we did the striped tenerac.
I was not. That was a you and Emily episode.
Yes, so the striped tenerac is another our Madagascar native. They are super weird. They kind of physically look like hedgehogs. They're not related whatsoever to hedgehogs. Very odd. And they eat those too. They make bush meat soup out of them.
Bush meat soup.
There's only one species of these guys, and they are listed as vulnerable, but that may soon change. Not for the better.
Oh, darn it. I was just going to ask that.
Not for the better. They're medium-sized, slender creatures, both feline and canine features. Which a lot of the muscelids, the weasel and mink family, have kind of that.
Okay. I just like the rhyme you used.
Well,
The features and the creatures. It was a good rhyme. It sounded like Dr. Seuss.
oh, I did. I guess I did. I didn't realize it.
That was good.
Sleek bodies, short, strong legs, cat-like claws and paws, round ears, canine-like snout, and a very long, thick tail.
Okay.
They are terrestrial and arboreal,
What's a boreal?
living in the trees.
Oh, okay.
Not just climbing trees, it's being very comfortable in the trees.
Right, yeah.
So, like, we can climb trees, we're not arboreal.
Right. Oh, squirrels.
Squirrels are a good arboreal species.
Yeah.
Monkeys, like animals that are very, very comfortable, like that.
Being in the canopy.
Yeah. They inhabit widespread forested areas all over Madagascar. They hunt their prey both in the high trees and down on the ground. So these are perfect lemur predators because lemurs can't really get away from them. Because that's a lot of the other predators on Madagascar. They just run up in the trees, and lemurs are very, very active primates in the canopy.
Right.
So they can just get away. The Fossa will go right after them.
Nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide.
They are active both during the day and the night, which is pretty rare for a lot of carnivores. But this, like the muscelids and their close relatives, like hyenas and these guys, are very much this kind of animal.
Yeah,
where
they
they do both day and night hunting.
All kind of do it.
Hyper opportunistic. That's why they've survived several mass extinctions. They're kind of focusing on not becoming so locked into a slot. So the first animals to go extinct in environmental change are the specialists. The generalists are the last.
That's right.
So the more general you could be, if you're not fully devoted to night hunting, you're not fully devoted to day hunting, you're not fully devoted to canopy hunting, you're not fully devoted to ground hunting, you can eat whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, but it can also be harder for you to get resources sometimes. So specialists generally, they don't compete with other predators.
Right.
So you look at the giant anteaters of Central and South America, they don't compete with anything.
Right.
But they're also only eating one species,
yeah.
one thing.
Hyper specialized.
So if they don't find those, they're going to die.
Right, yeah.
But they're not fighting anybody for their food sources.
Makes sense.
So those are the trade-off you get. These carnivores are mammals. They mainly feed on lemurs, other Madagascar natives, along with birds, reptiles, and other small mammals, like teneracs and introduced species. Fossas are ambush hunters, meaning they stalk and chase their prey, using their forelimbs and claws and their sharp teeth to quickly kill it. Their bodies are covered in very close, dense fur. So usually that's reddish golden brown. It's a very unique color with a paler underside. It's possible they can grow up to 6 feet in length from nose to tip of the tail and upwards of 26 pounds for a fully grown adult. We don't know.
Okay.
So like I said, the 31 inches is kind of what we know now from what we can find. They're very, very secretive and they're very low in number.
Yeah, I know. Like you just said earlier.
Fossas are the largest carnivore native to Madagascar.
Ooh.
And Madagascar, like many places in the world, has recently had their megafauna go extinct.
Oh, just recently?
Yeah.
Which would be the what?
Pygmy hippos.
Ah.
Let's see. The giant lemur, which was like a gorilla-sized lemur.
Oh, dang. Okay.
That was like 6 foot tall.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. There were several other things, just kind of those kind of guys.
Okay.
But Madagascar never really supported, as far as we could find, a really big predator. There is some evidence that some African predators may have been there for a short period of time.
Like jumped across, maybe?
When it split off.
Oh, okay.
Because it took, like, lemurs were native to Africa, and then they really survived. They really thrived on Madagascar when it split. So there's like all this stuff on Madagascar is from Africa.
It's an old world island.
It's very, very old.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff on Madagascar is only found on Madagascar.
Right, yeah.
But there are some African relatives still there. They are really, really solitary creatures, except during the breeding season. When the females are raising the young, Fossas are seasonal breeders and reproduce annually between September and December. Mating occurs high in the treetops. The female Fossa selects a specific branch where mating will take place. A certain tree may contain or be used for several subsequent mating rituals by other females during the same season.
Okay.
Once the female has chosen a site, several males will compete for the mating rights. They howl and roar and compete and intimidate. The female makes meowing sounds to attract her mates.
I wonder what those sounds sound like. Are there recordings of that? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Mate, I don't know, actually. There has to be, but
I would think there would be, but
they're very rare. Like,
yeah.
There are not many of them in private collections. There's not many of them in public collections like zoos. They don't do well in captivity.
Yeah.
They walk a long period of time at night. They're active. They need big environments.
Okay.
And it's hard, we talk about this with people, like reptiles get a bad rap or have trouble in captivity because people are like, oh, you can put it in a box and it's fine. Some reptiles, like monitor lizards, are highly intelligent. They're active. They're doing stuff. These are like those guys where they're not very big mammals, but they need a very big space.
Okay, gotcha.
So people kind of may not view that the same. They're
don't-
not a rhino, but they probably need an enclosure the size of a rhino's enclosure.
Okay, gotcha.
be happy.
Makes sense.
The gestation period is around 60 days. The litter size is usually between 2 and 4 young, although 6 has been reported. When it comes to the time to give birth, the female Fossa will dig an underground den with her white-haired, blind, and toothless pups. Will stay in for at least the first 4 months.
So they mate in the trees, but they give birth and raise them in the ground.
Underground.
Huh, that's interesting.
So if you can't tell, these are the apex predators.
Yeah.
So they are, they're granted a lot of liberties.
Okay.
Being the biggest carnivore.
Okay.
Because this is very odd. Like, they do have a lot of odd things, and that's one of the reasons they're suffering with people so much.
Okay.
Is because they're
not built to have humans in their environment.
acting like lions because
Yeah.
they are the lions of their area.
They fill that niche.
Yeah. But a human could beat them to death with a shovel.
Right. Yeah. Or just a nice steel toe boot.
These dudes light you up. I mean, they're not pushovers. I mean, I think one of these could kill a person. Just like 100%, otters kill people, and people don't believe that. Otters kill people.
Yeah.
And these are like otters. They're a kind of a cousin. So if they really wanted to get you and they got to your neck, you would die.
Yeah, that would be not a good way to go.
So I don't know if you'd really kick them to death.
Death
Because you're not just going to sit there and take it either.
No, probably not. Death by Fossa.
Look it up if that's ever happened. What I read.
All right.
The pups will continue to stay with the mother until they're around 2 years old before finding their own place in the wild. Young Fossas reach sexual maturity at about 4 years of age. So they have a really long parental process. And once again, you see this in apex predators where the cubs are in the den for 4 months, blind, helpless, and they stay with mom for up to 2 years after that. They take 4 years to be sexually mature. So they have an extra 2 years after they find their own territory of homing in their skills.
Okay.
So these are all traits of apex predators. So it's very unique to see that an apex predator this size.
Hey, look, I can't find if
A Fossa death?
yeah, if one's actually killed one, but I did find a Fossa death that was it looks like one was in captivity in the zoo in Texas. There was a Fossa in a zoo in Texas that just passed away.
Oh, that passed away. They are in some collections, they're just not very common.
Yeah. They are pretty interesting looking.
They have a weird look to them.
Yeah, it just looks like almost a
have-
giant weasel or something.
People have called them monkey cats too,
I could see that.
with their general head shape.
Looks like a
depending on how
lemur.
they're looking at you.
Yeah.
Depending on how they're looking at you, their snout's not as evident.
Right, yeah.
So like you said, lemurs have a little bit of a snout. The way they climb trees and kind of sit in trees, they look like a primate sometimes, but they kind of also look like a cat. They have not a fully prehensile tail, but a balancing tail. So you ready for your facts? Your freaky fauna facts?
Oh, yeah.
All right. The Fossa is the top predator of Madagascar is number 1, which is very odd, for an animal of their size class to be a top predator of any large island. Madagascar is extremely large, but they have taken the niche. They prey upon all 30 species of living lemur today.
Okay.
So whether it's an eye or a ringtail, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. Okay.
The Fossa's the next fact, the Fossa's extremely long tail is used for balance while hunting the tree branches. So they have this counterbalance tail. So it's not a prehensile tail, but it's a big, thick counterbalance tail.
Like a big cat's tail.
So when they're running through the trees and stuff like that, it can offset. And that's how you see these, fairly large animals running on tiny little branches and making turns and chasing lemurs down in the trees. Their scientific name comes from the Greek origins and refers to their
Tail?
anus.
Oh. I was close.
Cryptoproctia is derived from 2 Greek words meaning crypto, which means
Hidden.
and procto, which means
Anus.
anus. Hidden anus is their scientific name.
Now that's...
The name refers to the Fossa's small anal pouch, which obscures their anal cavity. The Latin word for fearix, which also means brave or fierce, is referring to the animal's ferocity in nature. So they're Cryptoproctia fearix.
Huh. Cats need one of those.
You can't.
They're always stretching in front of you and showing off.
Yeah. So if you're really looking for it, it doesn't look like they have an anus.
Right, yeah.
So their scientific name is
Hidden anus.
hidden anus brave cat.
Oh my gosh. What a name.
The fossa is a relative of mongooses.
I still don't know how I guessed that. I feel like for some reason when you said it, and I just looked it up, I thought it was Foosa. It's Fossa. So I don't know if it's Fossa or Fossa or Fossa.
Fossa is how it's pronounced, as far as I've seen on nature documentaries and everything like that.
Okay.
Like I said, white people
Right.
pronounce it Fossa.
Okay.
Like it's very different when you listen to some native Madagascarians talking about them.
Okay.
I can't do it. It's just not a word I could pronounce.
Okay.
Like I said, it's Foosh.
Yeah.
Is how they pronounce it.
Okay.
And it's just with my head, I can't do it.
I still don't know how I guessed it though, but I feel like there's like the mongoose bicycles. I don't know if you remember that brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was written on a box once.
A Fossa?
Just the name, the word, I don't know.
Maybe. So,
and that's why I guess mongoose.
Civil cats and meerkats are also relatives. But they have the other relatives like mongooses, otters, they're kind of related to that whole branch of more basal mammals or more basal carnivores.
Basal.
Not simple, just means close related to divergent points.
Right. Big difference.
Which they look, if you just look at it, you can see cat, you can see hyena, you can see mongoose, you can, depending on how you're looking at them, you can see all these other animals that came after, they probably diverged.
I definitely encourage anyone that hasn't seen one, like just
They're very interesting.
Look up a picture of them. They are.
The fossa, like I said, related to monitor. However, their slender and cat-like body, the fossa bears little resemblance to mongoose cousins, and it has more rodent-like features, chunky, low-slung bodies. And the picture they used for this part does look like a big rat with a cat's head.
Oh gosh.
So, like I said, they kind of look like everybody.
Right. Yeah. An amalgamation.
The fossa is considered fatty, taboo in Madagascar. So that's the word for it. Fatty. Fatty. Although some evidence has been reported of Madagascarans hunting and eating the fossa, it's generally considered a taboo animal and off limits for hunting. This may be because the fossa is regarded as a scavenger of the remains of their dead ancestors that are buried in the forest. However, farmers have been known to kill fossas if threatening or harming their livestock or fowl.
Which that's normal.
So they have a whole legends, or not legends, the fossa would scavenge on humans that were buried in Madagascar. They dig them up and start eating their corpses.
Okay.
But there are, like I said, half of Madagascar is very different than the other half. We've talked about that on the main show a lot.
Right.
Once
Just
you go to the other side of the mountain range.
Yeah, just the landscape
It's
itself.
a whole different place, and there's a lot of evidence suggesting people do eat these. Fossas communicate with one another mainly through their scents.
Okay.
Using scent glands in their chest and below the base of their tail, which is that anal pouch we were talking about earlier, fossas mark their surrounding areas to communicate with each other and keep track of one another. These glands resemble strong scent when the fossa is angry or scared, so they can kind of spray like their musculated relatives. Not really spray, like it's not going to shoot out like a skunk, but they can produce an extremely foul odor when threatened.
Okay.
But yeah, so fossas are weird predators because they have these, they're solitary, but they've been witnessed in groups, not on purpose, just kind of maybe running into each other.
Okay.
And there's not like some apex predators, there's not just beef on sight, just seeing each other. They may, just sitting with each other for a minute. They may not pay any mind to each other. Those kind of things.
Okay. So they might not bother each other.
Yeah, they could just walk past each other in the forest and just be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Fossas have, number 7, fossas have cat-like features, such as retractable claws and very sharp teeth.
Oh, retractable claw.
Which is a very odd thing.
It's a cat thing.
Yeah. Another relative of mongoose, fossas have feline-like qualities as well, like retractable claws. This gives the fossa the ability to walk silently, creep up on their prey. So with their claws not being fixed out, they can have these big spongy pads and nothing scrape them. So they can be quiet. It also keeps their claws extremely sharp.
Oh, okay.
So if you look at a dog's claws or a wolf's claws,
oh yeah,
they're out. They get wore down. They're not really sharp. And a dog can get you. I mean, I got to cut off my arm from a dog's
Oh yeah,
claw.
they'll still scratch you, but it's not a
It's
slice.
not like a cat.
Yeah,
a cat's like a blade.
Oh yeah.
So these guys are doing the same thing.
The cats are jerks when they know.
They know.
They know.
They know. There are many local myths and legends about the fossa. These fierce and cunning creatures have inspired plenty of legends in the Madagascar home. Myths of the Fossa include that they can kill poultry just with a scent. They can sneak into your home and kill babies in their beds. And they can shrink their pupils of their eyes until they vanish.
That's interesting.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
It is even believed that some parts of the single lick of a Fossa can put a person into a deep sleep or trance and they're unable to wake from, whereupon the animal devours their intestines and leaves them for dead. Needless to say, none of these scary stories are any concrete evidence behind them. As far as I could find, no Fossas ever killed a baby. Like, that's never happened.
Just hearsay at this point.
They're big cats. Like, not big cats, like not lions. They are big house cats sized.
Yeah.
Not saying a house cat can't kill a baby. It can. But there's people.
Right, yeah.
It's ain't a lion,
if it
you
was
can
left
stop
alone with the baby.
Yeah, now if you put a baby in a box with a Fossa, it's going to kill it.
Right.
But it's got to do a lot of things to get to the baby.
Okay.
It's not a lion where it's just busting a door and...
Right.
So there's this whole thing with eyes. Like eyes, they almost went extinct. You know what an eye is?
It's a little monkey, right?
They are
Or
lemurs,
primate, sorry.
which are primates. They are lemurs.
Lemurs,
They have
okay.
extremely large eyes with a really long finger, and they tap for bugs.
Right.
They in Madagascar culture are believed to be like bad omens, curses, all that.
Okay.
So some parts of Madagascar they were wiped off of the face of it.
They
for
killed
that.
them?
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder why.
So the eyes are a big part of a lot of Madagascar folklore.
Okay.
So the Fossas have very, very piercing eyes. They have very cat-like eyes. So when you look at them, you can see a lot of thought behind them.
Okay.
So this whole legends around their eyes revolves around a lot of folklore in Madagascar with the significance of eyes.
Okay.
So that's just what the lick thing. It's just this whole thing that it's the only real predator they had for a long time. So they, that's the folklore surrounds them.
Built the legends around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fossas can travel up to 26 kilometers in a day. Although they spend a lot of time in trees, Fossas are comfortable runners along the ground and cover long distances while hunting. Sometimes they've even been witness to what appears to be running for fun. The Fossa is the only predator able to catch the largest of the lemur species. So there are smaller predators on Madagascar. The Fossa is the apex. They're the only predator that eats, like I said,
The big lemurs.
All lemur species are prey to the Fossa.
Gotcha. Okay.
Despite the lemur's speed and agility, the skillful Fossa can outmaneuver them, even the quickest lemurs, and it's their biggest predator. Fossas go down trees head first like squirrels. And for their size, it's super weird to watch.
I was going to say, that sounds interesting alone.
I've seen some cats do it, but cats do more run. Fossas look like big lizards sometimes when they're walking. So here's where we get to some of the sad things. Like I said, they're listed as vulnerable, and that's probably going to change very soon to, probably threatened or endangered. Fossas are threatened by habitat loss. Continued on the island of Madagascar for millennia, Fossas became the biggest carnivore on the island and have no natural predators, therefore dominating the forests they call home. However, deforestation and habitat degradation threatens their very existence. As their main food source, the lemurs depend upon the forest to survive.
Okay.
Fragmentation, which is a thing maybe we should get into more.
Fragmentation?
Yeah, fragmentation. So I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
Is when these giant forests get broken up into small fragments.
Okay.
Like where we live here in Ohio. So they're not one habitat.
Right. They're separated.
So tree-dwelling species get isolated, their genetic populations falter, and they can go extinct very quickly.
Oh, okay.
So just because even if it's 200 yards, if you're a lemur and you're a canopy liver, you can't walk across 200 yards of field or road.
Right. You're going to be stuck in that isolated canopy.
Fragmentation.
Okay.
So these animals are literally like even though the forest looks like, well, we just took 30% of it, but you Swiss cheesed it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still killing everything in 100% of the forest.
Gotcha.
Due to fragmentation, deforestation, and habitat degradation. Threatens their existence as their main, like I said before. Fragmentation is a problem for the Fossa because reverse areas in which they live are not often large enough to support any healthy population of any prey animal. In addition, there has been an introduction of non-native species, such as...
Non-native. Rats?
Cats.
And cats.
Which compete with the Fossa for the food sources that are left, as well as disease such as rabies creeping from domesticated animals as cats and dogs. The combination of these factors means the Fossa is currently classified as vulnerable. And do you want to guess how many there are left?
800.
It's a good guess. 2,500 in the wild.
And they're not already. How's that not endangered?
Because it's an island species, so they kind of
Oh,
never had a great big population.
The numbers. Yeah, okay.
So it's, you kind of look at it a little differently.
Okay.
Like we've talked about that. Generally, with mammals, generally speaking, they're called functionally extinct at 3,000 or less.
Right.
Individuals left. Island species kind of get a pass. Some smaller species kind of get a pass because they have more genetic pliability, which means that they are less susceptible to inbreeding. They're less susceptible to those genetic hiccups that happen.
Right. As a result of doing that stuff.
And the island species kind of have to be that way because you're going to have periods where big chunks of the population go away.
Because space is finite.
Resources are very, very finite.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been the Fossa.
Ah,
so
the
it's an
Fossa.
Emily pick.
This is an interesting one. Never heard of it before.
I love Fossas. I'm not a big mammal person as far as like my top animals of anything that I really enjoy looking into.
Right. I mean,
But Fossas are really, really, really unique, and they're ones that need protection. A lot of Madagascar wildlife needs protection. Like you've seen pygmy hippos, right? There's that famous baby in China that was just born.
I've probably seen pictures or videos of it. I can't remember off the top
But
of my
they
head.
get like 400 pounds. Like
Okay.
they're a hippo.
Yeah, but they're
tiny.
a tiny little hippo.
And they just went extinct in Madagascar in the last like 30 or 40 years, 50 years.
Oh, that stinks.
That Forrest Gelante, or however you say his last name, that goes out and looks for unextinct species.
Oh, okay. I know what. I can't think of his name, but I know who you're talking about.
He's done the pygmy hippos a couple times, and there is a chance pygmy hippos are still out there.
Yeah.
And the Fossa numbers are probably bigger than what I estimate, or what I gave the estimate of, mostly due to parts of Madagascar being unapproachable.
Yeah. We covered that on Crips of the Corn.
Mating trees.
Was it that episode?
Yeah. Or that may have been a Patreon because it got kind of graphic.
Oh, yeah, maybe perhaps.
I
But we
can't
discussed the terrain of Madagascar pretty extensively.
Madagascar is an amazing, like a primal island.
It's an old world island.
A lot of the species are old world species.
Yeah.
So the pygmy hippo, they just were like, he went looking for it and he found a skull of one that was, I think, 30 or 40 years old. So it was, I can't remember off the top of my head how old it was, but it was after the date of extinction.
Right.
Which is a good sign.
Right. That they're still there.
That they may still be there.
Right.
But who knows? I mean, you got to really, really go look for them.
Yeah. I mean, they got to be on their, and obviously they're on their way out, so.
Which they're in captivity. There are zoos you can go see pygmy hippos. I don't know if there's any in the country. I'll look it up while you're giving your words of wisdom for the week.
In the U.S.? Oh, is it words of wisdom time?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I have for the Fossa. They're really cool.
Yeah.
Protect your Fossas.
Protect your Fossas. I mean,
animals need protection. There's ugly and pretty animals, and there's animals you never know about. And without Madagascar, like the show, nobody know what a Fossa is.
Okay, I wouldn't have known.
Like,
I didn't. I still didn't know, but I'd never seen the movie.
Everybody's like, "What's that cat in Madagascar?" Like, it's so weird.
And now they can listen to this episode, and someone asks them that question, they can be like, "Actually, it's not a cat. It's a mongoose." I still don't know how I guessed that. That was a lucky pull out of thin air. That was the Akashic record, thing I'm tapped into for that
I really
answer.
thought you had seen like something on one of my charts.
Huh?
All right, so the Brookfield Zoo in Lincoln Park has one. Gulfbury Zoo has a pair. The Montgomery Zoo has a mom and daughter. The San Diego Zoo has one of only.
So there's some in the U.S.
The San Diego, they're really rare. They're really hard to come by.
Yeah.
But the San Diego Zoo is one of only 2 zoos in the entire United States. You can see both the Nile hippo, which is the normal hippo, and the pygmy hippo at the same time.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool because you may not realize how big a hippo is compared to a pygmy hippo.
Mm-hmm.
They were native to, like I said, Western African rainforest in Madagascar, like the Fossa.
Okay.
But the last one extinct in Madagascar. All right, what's your words of wisdom?
Thanksgiving just happened. Remember to give thanks. Give thanks for all the things you have in life, and just don't forget to do that. It's that time of year to remember to give thanks and to appreciate what you've got. Try to stay warm and try to not let the gray skies and of the winter get you down, because we can all get cabin fever in the winter. But there's no need to. Do your best to stay away from it and enjoy what you've got.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Freaky Fauna Friday. If you want to help the podcast grow, remember to share and give it a 5-star review.